Hey everybody, it's Jack and Dan.
And today we're going to make some upgrades to the Vortexes on our Green Lantern tank, right dude?
Yeah.
Alright, so for those of you who have not seen our Green Lantern tank, this is it. We have some long-finned Tetra glowfish in here. They are the green version. We did a whole 6-part series where we built this tank, and one of the cool things we wanted to do is put some Vortexes in it. So we got this idea and kind of built up underneath here. We put these little mixers that are used, you know, like in chemistry and stuff. And we put the little pill goes down in there, and we kind of caused this to do this. Now, one of the things we did is we used a little hurricane so that this glass could be taken in and out. And we had a little, we didn't love how they came out. We wanted them to be a little bit taller. We also wanted them to be a little bit more narrow. Again, it's the first time we've ever done this, first time we've really seen anybody ever do anything like this at all. So it was kind of an experiment. And obviously, it didn't work out exactly how we wanted. So we finally found something that seems to want to work better. Yeah, this one's not working that good at all now. We found something that's going to work a little bit better. So we're going to take a look at that. And actually, Jack's right over here. Let me get up over here. What we found is we found a couple of glass structures. I found these on Amazon. And these are smaller, thinner, but still pretty tall. And basically, they are used, you can buy them by the dozen or even more. And they're used a lot of times for wedding centerpieces and things like that. The problem we had in finding something that had the thickness, the stability, and the size that we wanted is most of the time they were sold in large quantities. So what we did is we've mentioned this before. Remember how we talked about how you can look for things that are like return and stuff like that? Remember we've mentioned that?
It'd be hilarious to drink out of this.
I mean, it's a funny glass. It's really kind of like a flower vase or something. But anyway, what people do is they sometimes buy these several dozen at a time, centerpieces for weddings, things like that. And if they have imperfections, they return them. And so the cool part is these have some sort of imperfection. We don't, it's not noticeable to us. It could have been that they just didn't need these extra ones. But anyway, these are totally perfect. They're nice and thick. They're very straight on the bottom. They're going to stand up nice. Now, even with this thick glass and some air in there, they will probably still float, and we will probably still, you're going to suction cup your eyeball out there. They're probably still going to put the small plants on top. So as you can see here, we have some glow-in-the-dark kind of plants here on top with some gravel, and we're probably still going to use those. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these tops off and everything, clean them out a little bit, put the new ones in. We're going to see if they work a little better. All right, so this is basically what it's going to look like. We're going to kind of explain why and everything in a minute. Obviously, we have the green St. Patty's Day decorations out, which, of course, match the whole theme of the Green Lantern tank. So the whole room in here is green and everything now. Basically, these hurricanes are a little taller and thinner than the other ones. And they are about 3 inches, maybe 3.5 inches in diameter. And these new vases are 2 inches in diameter. Now, we could have used something very small, but the problem is when that pellet is spinning, it doesn't stay in exactly one point. And so it does need a little bit of room to move, and that's why we specifically got this size. The reason that we're putting it inside the hurricane is the hurricane has to hold the gravel out of the way, and this has to be able to be taken in and out just like that so that it can be cleaned without disrupting the gravel and all that other stuff. So you can still see through it. The other thing is we want a little bit of a bigger space here because these snails tend to go down there and stuff, and we don't want them to get caught. We want them to be able to go down there and go in. And if you look here at this design, there's not as much of a gap. It's not as tall. And of course, those are 4 inches, and so those are like over 3 inches, and there's just too much volume for this pill to move. So we're hoping by making it thinner and taller that it is going to give us a little bit more of a vortex and a cooler effect. So first thing we're gonna do is take these guys out, and then we're gonna replace the new ones, and then we're gonna see how it works. All right, first thing we have to do when we're taking this out is we have to be careful because when we remove this plant, obviously that is holding this down by weight. That thing's gonna lift right up. So we gotta grab it by both hands So we're going to come in here nice and easy. These guys, of course, think we're just feeding them, so they're right all up in our business. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take the plant with one hand. I'm holding this. You can see this is lifting right up out of there. Okay? And so there you go. So that one's going to come out. You can see how much bigger. This is like literally twice the size of that other vase. And it was just too big. We just couldn't find what we wanted. Now I'm going to pour a little bit of this water off. These guys are just going to go down here. They are going to go right back on top of that new one. And again, when you're working with all this glass and slippery, wet stuff, guys, be super, super careful. We do have grippy handles that we use, but just kind of being real careful. So these are all just going to go here. These are going to get cleaned, maybe used in a future design or something, and those plants are going to go right back in. Now, when you look down in there, you can see that those pills are spinning. Now, they're actually spinning a lot faster than that, but the camera only catches every so many, nanoseconds or whatever. So they look like they're spinning smaller. In real life, you can't actually see them at all except for the middle. And you can see where that little X is. So that's where we're going to center it. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take those pills out. We're going to clean them off. We're going to suction any debris that's under there. And we're going to put the new hurricane in before we take the other one out so that the gravel will just take its place. It's actually going to be really cool. We'll show you here in a second. All right, so this is what these little pills look like. As far as we know, they're basically just like balanced steel. They're wrapped in some sort of, Remlon or nylon or something that's super resistant and resilient and lasts a long time. The little magnet is actually in the device under here, and that little platform has the magnet in it. And of course, when you turn it on, it spins faster inside there. However, these little guys, as far as we know, should last a very long time. And they're not showing any sort of wear. Oops, there's focus. They're not showing any sort of wear or anything like that. They're just sliding on top of that glass, spinning around. And we've been running them for several months now, and they're not showing any sort of breakdown or wear or anything like that. And you can order new ones, and they're only a few bucks. So let's go ahead and get these other hurricanes in, and we'll show you how we're going to do that. All right, we're basically just going to use this little old vacuum, and we're just going to suck out what's inside of here just for a couple seconds. Obviously, this primes real easy. This is just one of these little deals. And we're just going to go in here and just suck everything out because we don't want anything kind of intervening with the new Vortexes. Okay, and we're just going to go right over here to this one and do exactly the same thing. Just kind of any little bits and pieces of things that might have fallen or grown in there or whatever. All right, you can see we kind of put that smaller hurricane inside of the bigger hurricane after we kind of suctioned out any little sand or gravel that got in there. And what I'm basically going to do is hold, this might be kind of hard to show, but I'm going to hold the inside with one hand and kind of pull the other one out with another hand. Jack's going to show it from the front here. And while I'm trying to do it, and you'll be able to see the kind of gravel shift over into, again, you may or may not be able to see it, but going to hold this inside one and then going to kind of lift this one up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's cool.
That gravel's just going to real gently slip this one out. Now I'm going to just kind of make sure this is down and centered. If you bring that camera back up here, buddy, look down at that, you can see how that worked. So now we have a new hurricane. It's a little smaller, a little taller, and it's all set up. So the cool part is, and this is the reason that we're using these, is if you look at this, we can take now that upside down vase in and out as many times as we want. Obviously the snails and everything are going to clean this. This one actually has a couple snails on it, so I'm going to put them back in and knock them off. But if you look at that now, it's a lot smaller and a little cooler. Now I'm going to fix that gravel around the outside and everything. We're going to go ahead and put these other new Vortexes in, and we're going to try them out. All right, so I want to zoom in here on this pill, how it's spinning. And one of the reasons why we couldn't make these vases really much smaller, because you can see that it does move. And if it hits the side, it just kind of ricochets off, and then it usually gets out of alignment. So you can see it has some play there, which we needed, but we needed it to be thinner. And if you look at this one, it's really working awesome. It's about a centimeter or a centimeter and a half above the Hurricane, which is higher than it was before. Still got a super cool effect. You can see this little albino Corey's checking out. He's like, oh, look at this vortex. This is neat. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So they dig them. They watch them and they check them out. We're probably still going to put the plants on top because even though it weighs enough to hold that little bit of air down, you know, this big green guy, Kilowog, as Jack named him, after one of his favorite Green Lantern fellas, if he goes to clean this, he could tip it and it could, you know, knock the whole thing down. This one over here, we tried to make a little bit taller and it's just not quite reaching. So we're probably going to lower this one down a little more, maybe even this one a smidgen. See if we can get these vortexes to go all the way down to the bottom. Now, the other thing we noticed, Kilowog, he loves going inside of this guy. And as you can see, that's one of the places we have an undergravel light there shining up, which really gives it a cool effect. He really likes to go inside there, and he just pushes that plant around from side to side constantly, and he actually almost pushed it out a couple times. So we just took it out. We had the Green Lantern ring kind of holding it to the middle of that. What we decided to do is just stick it over, as Jack said, hey, just throw it on one of these little fingers on this thing. So that way it's still there. It's still in the middle of the tank. It's part of the design. It's noticeable. We'll see what that looks like with the lights off. And we moved the other two little white glass knots from the back kind of up here. So now, no matter how you look at this with that plant on top, these sponge filters in the back are going to be very well hidden. And that's kind of what we like to do. We like to kind of hide the filters. So the vortex is going to hide the body, all of this scaping will, and the plant on top is just going to hide this. So we're going to add a little bit more air to each one of these and then stick these plants on top and kind of see how it looks now with this kind of new design here. All right, guys, so there is everything kind of moved around. The three white glass knots are in new position. The ring is in new position. The vortexes are in their new design. Really, really digging how this came out. The Green Phantom can now go behind over there, has a lot more room. He's actually just tucked behind this white knot right here. And he can go in here. The Green Lantern ring's right there. That's going to glow in the dark like it always does. Super, super cool. Totally digging these two new vortexes. They're definitely bigger and more powerful in the thinner vase. And these guys look great. Again, they kind of hide the filters. Very, very pleased. How do you like them, dude? Do you think that they're better?
Yeah, they're more visible, definitely. They look like some sort of like engine or like coil. It looks really cool, and it looks like a plant almost, like an actual different sort of plant.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a whole like bioenergy thing with the green and the white knots and yeah, I mean it's like a blender type of situation, but you know, look how this one, half of it's green. Totally dig the new design, totally dig the movement of things around, the rescaping. If you have not seen these videos, we did a 6-part series where we took this old stand and old tank and kind of cleaned it up, fixed it up, put the Green Lantern light in the background. We resealed it. We put the penthouse aquariums on, the lights. Aqua actually gave us a light for this. We had another light, but we changed it. We had another black light here. We changed it. So these three are also black lights. And of course, we have the Green Lantern Oath up here. So at the end of this video, for those of you who have not seen those videos, obviously check in the description for those if you want to see how we made this whole thing. We have the long-finned green glowfish tetra. We have the albino cories, an array of different mystery snails and trumpet snails, and then of course the big Green Phantom pleco. And check those videos out and you can kind of see how we made this and everything. What we're going to do for those of you who have not seen those though, at the end of this video, we are going to do, after all the lights are off and it's dark tonight, we're going to run through some of the under gravel lights so you can see what they look like now with the new scaping and the new vortexes, and also put the black lights on and just kind of show how everything looks when we're messing around with our lights. Lights are kind of our thing, aren't they, kiddo?
Yeah, pretty much.
We love messing around with the lights. We love, you know, doing different things. This is a very futuristic kind of cool tank. And yeah, we actually have it hooked up to the clapper too. So we'll show you all that here in a minute, and stay tuned if you want to see the lights and everything like that. All right, so there's the Green Phantom sitting right behind the new Vortex design. Boy, he's got his fin up. He looks great. Of course, this guy has to photobomb. Hey, buddy. They always photobomb right up in the front. They think they're getting fed. We're actually going to feed them here. Look at the cories up here in the glass. They sometimes hang out up here. Isn't that cute? Little albino guys hanging out in the little plant glass there. They're so funny. But anyway, the Vortexes look great. Totally digging the new way they are. Now this is with basically the white lights on, all the green lights on, the black lights, all that. So I'm just going to turn the white lights off real quick, and we're just going to take a real quick look at how the under gravel lights and the black lights look. I'm digging the green lantern light there, kind of hanging over like that. Look at the green light shining right on the front, dude. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it looks nice.
See how it's got like the green right on the emblem? So we're gonna see how that looks. All right, so that's with the white light off. Now Jack's gonna change the color of those other ones a couple times here. You go with like, ooh, that's like a yellow, huh? There's like a light green. There's the blue. Super neat. There's the red. A lot of people have said that they like the red in the comments. So go ahead and just turn them off all the way. There we go. So that's what it's like with the black lights and the green lantern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give that little click here. We're going to turn that off now. We can go snaps or we can go clicks, whatever, because it's on a clapper. So that's what's like just the black lights. Pretty awesome. I do like the little white glass knots a little more separated the way they are. Plants look great. Plants look great. These little guys up here in the black light, they just kind of turn purple. Isn't that cool? So everything's really neat. I think the Vortexes look awesome. Now here's the weird part. These guys glow a lot, but this light, this ring, doesn't glow at all under the black light. Now watch what happens when we turn the black lights off. Look at the ring now. Isn't that so cool? So you can't see anything else in the whole entire tank. Actually, it's kind of weird because when the glowfish come close to the ring, it actually lights them up a little bit. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it looks neat. It's like the only thing in there. It's like reminiscence on it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it is pure black, but then you can see that ring. That is so neat, except when the fish go in front of it. Isn't that cool, man? I think I like it like that.
It looks like the power source of the tank.
Yeah, it's so cool. So we're gonna turn the black lights back on.
It looks like it's giving you power.
Hey, that's cool, man. That's cool. Well, you know what? Why don't we do a little feeding video, because we've never really done one at night. So we'll kind of do that real quick. All right, Jeff's gonna feed these guys. We never really fed them at night with the black lights on. We're just gonna kind of see how that looks. He put some in there. They don't seem to notice it yet, but they'll probably pick it up here in a minute. Usually it'll kind of start to sink or something. I think they start smelling it. There is 16 of these guys in here. Is that right? There's like 16 of them?
Yeah, I think so.
We haven't had any casualties. None of these guys have died since we put this tank together. All these guys are doing great. Yeah, they're starting to get the food now. I'm gonna have to do like a short kind of feeding thing where I set up something and just do a short with these black lights on these guys, because man, look at them zooming around. How cool is that? I'm gonna come in here a little bit. I love the way the plants and the fish and the gravel and everything's green like this. Yeah, there they go. They see it now. How cool is that, huh? It looks really neat with that dome. That black light really gets them good when they come right there. Super, super cool. Never really fed them at night like that. Sometimes at night they come up in here too. There's none of them coming up in there now, but they'll come up in here, and then these black lights will really get them good, and they just glow like up in here all by themselves. But not doing it right now. Look at these two little Corys over here, just hanging out in their little private little glass, cleaning up. Oh, he's coming out. He smells the food. Super neat, guys. Well, we just want to do an update on this tank, show you how we redid the Vortexes and all that kind of stuff, and kind of rescape things around, how it's doing. It's doing really well. Everybody in it's doing well, and we'll be doing follow-ups on it if we do any more stuff to it. Probably do some feeding videos. We did do a feeding video for Christmas, so I'll put that in a link in the description too in case you missed that. For the sugar plum fairies, right?
Yes.
Sugar plum glowfish. That was actually a really good one and very popular. A lot of people liked it, so put that in the description as well. So there they are, guys. If you've never had glowfish, I know people have a lot of weird feelings about glowfish, but we think they're actually really, really neat. And we'll probably be doing a video kind of talking a little bit more about glowfish, because a lot of people have questions about it and they don't really know very much about them. And it's actually really cool how they came about and everything. So we'll probably do a video talking a little more about that. There's the big guy back there. You can see him kicking around. I'm glad he's got that area opened up and everything now. So that's cool. Well, all right, guys. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.